This is another update. Remember the story we brought you about the racist white kid who tried to drown a black kid, put him up full mass? He is going to walk free. In an update, Indisputable previously covered the trial of John P. Sheeran, 15-year-old child, has pleaded guilty to trying to drown a 15-year-old black child who the black child considered the white child to be his friend. Late last year, he pleaded guilty to the charges of attempted murder and assault with a dangerous weapon in a Massachusetts courtroom. He was waiting on the sentencing. He will be walking free. A reminder of the incident. The incident took place on July 19th, 2023. This was at Goose Pond in Chatham, Massachusetts, after the black child rode a bicycle to the lake to meet up with other children, thinking these children were his friends, his peers. Once at the lake, Sheeran told the black child to ride his bike into the lake, but the black child said the bike belonged to his older brother, according to NBC News. That was when the two white children began throwing rocks at him. The black child, who was unable to swim, donned a life jacket and got into the pond, where they continued to throw rocks at him, calling him the N-word as well as boy. The two white children then got into the water, swam up to the black child, which was when Sheeran began pushing his head under the water 4 to 5 times as the other white children laughed and called him, quote, George Floyd, while the black child pleaded that he was unable to breathe. Quote, water went into my mouth and my nose and I could not breathe, end quote. The black child said in a written statement to the police, according to NBC News, quote, so I shouted out that I can't breathe over and over and tried to get his hand off of me. Sharon also swam underwater to grab the black child by his feet to continue pulling him down as shocked witnesses looked on. Witnesses say that this juvenile repeatedly pushed his head underwater as the others laughed and called him George Floyd. Before I give you the update to the now, understand the cause and effect. Children engage in mimicry during their teenage years, preteen for sure. They are experiencing the social context of what they have learned, typically from their home. Do you believe the children themselves were that interested in the George Floyd verdict? No, the parents were. Do you believe the children were born saying the N-word? No, their parents taught them to say the N-word. This has the effect of devaluing the life of those who may have a different skin color. So now that they have been taught to be violent racist, the 15-year-old Cape Cod child who pleaded guilty to trying to drown a 15-year-old black acquaintance will serve no jail time after a Massachusetts judge suspended a 3-year sentence in a juvenile detention center. Suspended the sentence. Instead, John, they call him Jack, must complete 720 hours of community service, stay away from his victim. Judge Sylvia Gomes ruled this on Monday. Despite the light sentence, The lawyer, Kevin Reddington, insisted his client was the real victim, even though the teen, son of a wealthy ferry mogul, had pleaded guilty to the charges of attempted murder and assault with a dangerous weapon. And the judge who ordered the dismissal of the 3 years, suspended sentence is what they call it, put her up full mast. Well, I be damned. Isn't that something? So Judge Sylvia made a statement. The judge says, and I quote, "I have focused on the young man here who made a horrific mistake," the judge said. "Let's take race out of it." Sharon, I want to get your opinion of this case, the outcome, and also the judge who made the decision.
Well, we've seen her before. She lives in many jurisdictions. We saw her when George Floyd. It's ironic that the perps here were using George Floyd's name the way they did because people enjoy being coddled if they're white, and they are afforded that coddling by the bench even. These are victims all the way around, but there's one chief victim here, and that's a young child of color. The others, as you mentioned, they got it from their mamas and daddies, okay? That's where they got it from. Judge doesn't surprise me. Very empathetic when you see your form across the bench, but when they look like something else, it's a little more difficult. They're thugs and pushers, I guess.
Very fascinating. Obviously, the prosecutor, once again, I got to give a big shout out to the prosecutor who did the right thing from day one and continued to push the proper charges against the juveniles who did this.